Hey everybody, it's Adam Rosoff from the Real Estate Dads. We are joined by Evan Reynolds in Charlotte, North Carolina. How you doing, Evan?
How's it going, Adam? Good to see you.
Great seeing you, buddy. Always great to chat with you
Of
about what's
course.
going on in Charlotte, man. So since we're talking about Charlotte,
Yeah.
focusing on Charlotte, why don't we talk about some touch upon some stats to kind of show where everything's headed.
Yeah.
What happened last year? Last
Perfect.
year for the entire real estate world was shifting.
Right.
The first half was a continuance from 2021, and then around July, August was when the market started to shift. I know in LA, you could see a lot of ripple effect going
Right.
on.
Right.
How did maybe you can share a screen and show us
Yeah.
like how did last year look for you guys?
Yeah. I was just going to say I'm going to share a screen here and pull up some MLS data. So let's see here. I think we got it all right.
Yep.
So looking at some of the local stats here in Charlotte, as you mentioned, there was a shift last year, which is to be expected, right? There was a shift across the country. The Fed chair adjusting interest rates had an impact. Obviously, mortgage rates changing. They had been so low for so many years. People were refinancing at 2%, less than 2%, and it was steadily climbing. So around June, July, August, that's when you start to see a little bit of a shift. But I just want to point out that I'm looking at the Charlotte region here, and there's only a couple of things that I really want to talk about, which are sales price, price per square foot, and of course, days on market. And if you look at the sales price as an example, if you look at January of 2022, the average sales price was 404,800, just in round figures. And as you can see from this line chart, you still see by the end of the year, it still grew to 459.7 for average sales price in Charlotte. So even though we talk about the shift, which was around June, July, August timeframe,
Yep.
you still
Yep.
see that Charlotte was still a healthy market. It was still moving in the same direction. I know it flattened out a little bit. People want to talk about a seller's market compared to a buyer's market. If that's happening yet, if it's in transition, where we're heading. But if you look at this line chart, it still designates that Charlotte has been a great market for your sales price. Not so much plateauing, flattening out, but there is still growth there. And so,
Yeah, no,
if you're
I just ran the numbers real quick. A rough estimate looks like from January 2022 to whatever the most current one is, it
December,
represented like a 12% ish increase.
right.
So
And
that's
significant.
fantastic.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there are a number of categories if we look at stats, and I won't get into all of the nuts and bolts, but in general, our inventory has increased. It's doubled. There was a time during the pandemic and everything else we had like 0.8 months of inventory, and so we've grown that to about 1.6, 1.5 months of inventory, which is good. The market has slowed, but in general, you will see that compared to other places. I know we've talked about Los Angeles as an example. You guys have, and we're not there yet with days on market, but you guys have had a significant change in your days on market and what are expectations to be set with your sellers compared to us. As a matter of fact, I just want to click on days on market.
About days on market, let's take a look.
Yeah, I mean, if you look here, January 2022, days on market average was 4 days, and that obviously lasted all the way through July. Again, right. This is about when that change happened, and as you can see, it increased.
5 days.
But still, though, not significant, right? I mean,
right.
That's pretty reasonable considering. Again, we've all talked about how buyers are a little bit skeptical. They're a little standoffish with, like I said, the increase in the interest rate. But as I like to remind my buyer clients, there was a time, probably before some of us were even born, where interest rates were 16%, 17%, 18%, like back in the 80s, right? Long ago, right? Most people don't even know what that is, right? The 80s, right?
Hey, so focusing on the days on market here, this is great. This is great information for like a seller, right, who back in January was like, my house is sold in 4 days,
right?
And compared to LA, we went from 15 days on the market, 2 weeks, to 45 days on the market. So a seller in our area is sort of freaking out because their house hasn't sold. So your intel about days on market, you're setting their expectations with the sales price. This is all great information for a homeowner.
Yeah, again, everything that you do, I think, and I mentioned this earlier, just talking about, preparing people when they move across country. It's always setting that expectation, right? What to be prepared for, what to look out for. And so, bad news is that the days on market increase, but it only increase, minimal amounts here. We're talking about 4 days to 6 days throughout, obviously, all of 2022. So obviously right now we're in the middle of January. Don't know what's going to happen exactly going forward, but we didn't have a double digit increase like in LA market. And so I think that, again, in all things, especially real estate, all of us are reactive, right? We're kind of concerned and standoffish, and what should we do? I think sellers can still feel pretty comfortable that they've got a good chance at selling it. And again, it may not be as competitive. They might not get 30 offers like they had been, and it might not balloon over, like I said, asking to the same extent. But it doesn't mean that they're all of a sudden going to lose their shirt because they're selling their properties now. And again, the time frame hasn't increased significantly either. So
thinking about all this, I'm wondering how many new listings are coming on the market, because now if I'm a seller, I'm wondering, okay, who's my competition?
Right.
Who's my competition? So so right there, you have 54,000 new listings in January of last year.
That's right.
And so compared to this year,
and just to show you what that
fall around 50,000.
Yeah. And it dropped obviously down to 49,000 in December. But again, if when you think about the fact that there are things that have occurred in the marketplace, there's always an adjustment. There's still going to be properties that are available for those investors, for those buyers that are interested in getting in the market. Again, that's why we talk about why wait, right? What are we waiting for, right? We don't know what's going to happen exactly with interest rates. We don't know what's going to happen with the market overall, if it's going to stay as hot as it has been, and so there's no better time than the present, just like all things. And when you look at the fact that there's still inventory from a seller standpoint, this means that obviously if there's fewer listings, that means it's more competitive and people are looking for properties, which means it's good for you, right? Because you have your home on the market. From a buyer standpoint, that still means that there could be some competition there. But again, because of the interest rates that have increased, and again, the market has softened a little bit, just know that it's not going to be as competitive as it had been. I can't guarantee how competitive it's going to look like and what that landscape exactly looks like, but just know that we've been through a very interesting time in which, like I said, multiple offers on properties closing before it's even come officially on the market. I mean, we've seen a lot in the last couple of years. And so this just shows you that there's still some great properties that are available. And again, if you're looking back at, like I talked about earlier, sales price, we still have seen a trend for the sellers that has been still favorable, right? And I didn't even talk about price per square foot, but if we look at the same trend line, 165 per square foot in the Charlotte region, and obviously in December 22 up to 194. So again, there's still great movement from both sides of the equation, buyers or sellers, but especially from a seller standpoint, the market still indicates that it's a good time. If you're thinking about moving, think about relocating. Still a great market to take advantage of some of these opportunities.
Now, so the staying on this price per square foot, you're at an 18% increase from January to December, and then looking at the number of new listings from last year to December, you had a 10% drop, 54,000 down to 49, roughly a little more than 10%, and I mean, it's still a seller's market. And the fact that Charlotte, North Carolina is still one of the top destinations, relocation destination points. I mean, your market is very healthy.
Yeah, it's still a healthy market. And that's why I mentioned a moment ago, there has been some reluctance by some buyers, but I would suggest that you try to take advantage of this situation now.
Absolutely.
Because again, as I have seen, I think that most of us have seen, besides way before I was in real estate when the market crashed back in 08, 09, back then, We still haven't seen a time where prices have come down so significantly that you're like, oh, geez, this was a bad decision, right? Every market across the country, at least that I've seen, has still seen significant growth, right? And increase in equity opportunities for folks. And again, folks that have decided when some of these new markets, these hot markets come out, investment opportunities. And we're just talking about single families right now, but there is such an opportunity for investors if we got into multifamilies and condos and townhouses. I mean, there's so much construction in Charlotte because, again, so many people have been relocating here that finding a place for people to move to. As you see, as it indicates with new listings, there's still plenty of properties on the market for you to find your dream home, for your dream location, your dream home, to leave the cold if you're in another state in the Midwest or somewhere like I mentioned. And so, yeah, Charlotte is a great market. It's not expected that it's not going to be a hot market through 2023.
Man, Evan, this is a lot of great information here. You're a wealth of knowledge, man. You're a relocation expert from your experience, man, and the fact that you're in such a hot market of Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, buyers and sellers should be flocking to you for your expertise.
Yeah, listen, and it's funny, as I was talking about designations, that's one of the things I'm looking at getting certified in because, again, I have that real world experience. I've lived it. Like I said, everybody's got different goals, different interests, what kind of brings them to an area. But if you are looking at relocating and you have options, right? And some people, they are choosing to relocate for their job, but they have to go to a certain market, right? But again, thinking about the pandemic and what we've gone through and the fact that a lot of people can work from anywhere, you should strongly consider Charlotte. It's a great city, great opportunity. There's so many times and I tell my wife this, I joke a lot, where I can drive around Charlotte, not even late in the evening, but just like, after work hours, and Charlotte gets quiet, right? And so you have like this major city function where you've got the Carolina Panthers, so if you like NFL, you've got the Charlotte Hornets if you like the NBA. So you've got teams that come into town to play our sports, teams. We've got minor league baseball, the Charlotte Knights that's right in uptown as well. Great museums, like I said, microbreweries and food and bars, and so there's just so many things to do that I just really feel like if you can consider relocating and you're looking to see what might be appealing, take a look at Charlotte. Obviously I'm here to help. I really love the opportunity to sort of, find out how I can help you through the process. Sure. Like I said, I've done it so many times, but just know that Charlotte has been great for my family. And I really, I get why so many other families have also moved to the area.
Fantastic, man. Thank you so much.
Listen, I appreciate it, Adam. It's always great to see you. Great to talk to you about real estate and just catching up as well. But appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today. And again, look forward to hopefully bumping into you sometime soon as well. It's been a while, so we got to try to see if we can cross paths somewhere down the line. All right.
Definitely, man.
All right. Have a good one, Adam. Take care of yourself.
You too.